Hey there, Katie Kimball here for Kids Cook Real Food and the Healthy Parenting Connector. The Healthy Parenting Connector is a show where I strive to connect you, adults, parents who really want to raise healthy, independent adults. Did I even say that right? Hmm. You are adults. You want to raise kids to become healthy, independent adults. Anyway, I do know what this show is about. The point is that I connect you with experts who have the information you need. And once a month, I get to be the expert, even though I can't always say all the words right. That's okay, though. The Healthy Parenting Connector connects parents who desperately want to raise healthy, independent adults with the experts who have the information they need. Today, I want to tell you about a typical Saturday morning at the Kimball house. On Friday night is when it begins. Usually, my daughter, Leah, who's 13, will go grab our family chore list, which is a single sheet of paper in a page protector so that we can write on it each week with dry erase markers. My kids know that they're expected to select 6 chores each weekend or each week and get those done. And so she likes to kind of be more in control. She takes after her mom in that way. And so she'll write her initial by the 6 that she wants. Now, you would think that in grabbing it first, she's looking for the easiest 6, water the plants, where we had to cross off the S because mom killed some of the plants and we only have one plant left, right? Water the plant. It's like a 2-minute job. But she doesn't. My kids know that the 7-year-old Gabe, who has fewer skills than the rest of them, kind of needs the easier end. Like he only has 6 or 8 that he can choose from. She just likes the ones she likes. And generally, they're similar every week. They tend to be the ones that other people do poorly. They tend to be the ones that are a little more like in our face, like a bathroom counter. She doesn't like when the bathroom counter's dirty, so she cleans it and it's done correctly. This past Saturday, she actually did 11 instead of 6 because we were having people over Saturday night. And again, she likes to put her best foot forward. So that was her choice, completely her choice, that she did 11 before she left at 10:30 in the morning, by the way, for a church event. Her brothers were like, "What's left?" Oh, there's plenty left to do, my friends. My kids are washing their own sheets, putting their sheets back on the bed. They are cleaning bathrooms. Sometimes I add little things on there. Like if, let's say, I bought some celery or some peppers that need to be frozen, I'll say cut and freeze 6 peppers from the fridge. And my kids help out. Yeah, I'm doing chores too. I'm cleaning my own bathroom. I generally take the toilets, although Gabe, who's 7, thinks that's actually really cool. And he's being trained to clean the toilets, the grossest job in the house. But we all work together as a family. We all help set the table. We all clean up after meals. They have after meal chores that they have to do all the time, even the 7-year-old. We work together to create dinner. In fact, on a typical weekday, on a typical school morning, my 2 older kids, Paul and Leah, who leave, I mean, Paul's sometimes gone before I even make it downstairs. They're generally pretty much making their own breakfast because we're just not up. We're not awake in time. I am a night owl to the extreme. Mornings are rough. Mornings are rough. And so Leah will ask me at night, "What's for breakfast tomorrow? What do you want us to eat?" I'll tell her and she makes it happen. And Paul does too. John, who's 10, sometimes makes his own, especially on weekends. He makes his own. On school days, he's not quite as organized as his sister, and he's making his lunch while myself and my husband's making his breakfast. Did you catch that, by the way? We're only making lunches for the 7-year-old, and that is going to be short-lived. Now, some parents, I think, some adults would look at me and say, "Oh my goodness, is she some sort of lazy mom?" And in fact, I had a big conversation in my community a couple years ago where a spouse actually said to his wife, "Are you trying to be lazy? You're making our kids make their breakfast and their lunch." And I asked other parents what they thought about that interplay. Well, most people supported the mom, but there are definitely people out there, the type of people who comment on social media, who say, "Man, are you just kind of being lazy? You want your kids to like do their own sheets and fold their own laundry and wash the floor and the toilets and make their own lunches? Like, come on, what are you there for?" And that's one perspective. Sure, that's one perspective. There are people who will say our kids need to have their childhood, they need to play, they need to be kids. The adult world will catch up with them soon enough with all those responsibilities. Well, here's what happens when kids don't take responsibility, when kids don't have any responsibilities. Because today I want to prove to you, I want to lay out a logical argument to prove to you that giving kids responsibilities like cooking and chores and taking care of themselves and other human beings and plants, that giving them responsibilities is actually a gift to them. That it's not taking something away from their childhood, but it is giving them a gift both in childhood and when they become adults. Reason number one, quite honestly, is that responsibility will improve both their success and their mental health as an adult. Okay, I've been spending a lot of time since December 2021 actually working on a very massive project, our Life Skills Now summer camp. We have 50 expert camp leaders teaching kids everything from how to make a phone call to how to apply for their first credit card to why they might want to go to college or do something else after high school. The whole gamut, cooking, gardening, all of it. One of our camp leaders is Dr. Nicole Berkins, and she's a former special ed teacher. She's a psychologist and a nutritionist, the trifecta of expertise, in my opinion. She runs an in-person clinic, and she did an incredible overview, actually, for parents of neurodivergent kids in particular of our camp and where those parents may really want to pull out workshops that will benefit their kids the most. But she also talked for about 10 minutes about life skills in general, the importance of life skills for our kids, our teens, and our young adults. This is not just for neurodivergent families. This is for everyone, and I hope you get a chance to watch it. Sign up for summer camp. By the way, I'll have to leave that link in the comments. But here's what she said that really struck me. It struck me in the heart, and I continue to refer to this often. Dr. Nicole Berkins said that both her neurodivergent and neurotypical young adults who come to her clinic, so we're talking like maybe 17 to 24 age group, if they don't know how to care for themselves, she seems to be seeing a direct correlation with an increase in depression and anxiety. The young adults in her clinic who do not know how to care for themselves seem to have a direct correlation to an increase in depression and anxiety. Now, how does that make logical sense? Well, think about it. If someone can care for themselves, they feel a sense of agency. They feel a sense of control over their lives. They feel that they can, that they can care for themselves, for lack of a better word. If you know what to do to feed yourself, to nourish yourself, to get yourself to a job, to take care of your physical environment, then you have control and agency, and you know that you will be taken care of, right? You have that sense of almost that sense of relief, right? That's it. That sense of I know that I will be cared for. Kids who don't have the opposite, which is a lack of control, which makes everyone feel, any adult or child, feel a little unbalanced and a little off kilter when you feel a lack of control. It increases our anxiety, right? Lack of control definitely increases anyone's anxiety. And when we don't feel like we're agents in our own lives, why wouldn't we be depressed? We don't know what to do, right? So that is reason number one, why we have to give our kids, our teens, some responsibility so that they can learn the skills to care for themselves, to be competent in life, because it's going to improve their self-esteem and their mental health, both as teens and as young adults. We can't teach them when they're young adults because they need to build a competency, right? We want them to make mistakes when they're still in our household and can fall back on us and rely on us when things go wrong. That is where we give that sense of safety. And safety is 1,000% the opposite of anxiety. So reason number one, give your kids chores, give them responsibilities, teach them to cook, show them how to take care of themselves, other humans, and plants, because we want to protect their mental health throughout their lives. Reason number two has to do with gratitude and entitlement. Okay, we just sort of set up a dichotomy of a juxtaposition of fear and anxiety and control and self-esteem, right? These are on opposite ends of the spectrum. I believe that gratitude and entitlement are also on opposite ends of the spectrum. We hear from a lot of people that our young adults, our young kids are demonstrating a lot of entitlement. Many of them, not all of them, not my kids, not your kids, but many of them do sort of tend to expect a lot to be given to them, a lot to be handed to them, that they don't really need to work for things because not only should life be easy, but they ought to be taken care of. Well, now, where does that sense of entitlement come from? It comes from the fact that they're always taken care of instead of being given the ability to take care of themselves and other people, right? And I do believe it's the opposite of gratitude. Melissa Griffin, who's known as HR Mom online, she was an HR professional. And over the course of about 10 years, she and other people in her company and in the field of HR, human resources, right? The hiring and the firing, began to notice that the new hires coming in, right? The starting employees over this 10-year span seemed to have a marked decrease in basic skills. They were literally less ready to enter the workforce. Now, she is now HR mom because she's trying to teach other parents how to parent gently with compassion, but also with some expectations for the children. And that giving kids chores is very much part of our job in raising healthy, independent adults who actually are ready to enter the workforce and be successful. Now, when they're entitled, when they don't know how to be responsible, they also, I believe, don't know how to be grateful enough when things are given to them. So in our family, I mentioned that my kids, my three older kids, Paul, Leah, and John, age 17, 13, and 10, they all pack their own lunches. The older ones have packed their own lunches for many years. And so they know what a drudgery it is. You parents who are packing lunches for your kids or for yourself know that, oh man, every Sunday night, you're like, oh, I got to pack lunch for tomorrow. Or maybe it's Monday morning and you're scrambling, like, oh, I got to pack lunch again. And summer is such a delight, isn't it? That's one of the joys and the celebrations for me entering summer is like, oh, we don't have to pack lunches anymore, even though I'm only packing one lunch a couple times a week because my husband helps too. Um, so they have packed their own lunches. And here's the opportunity that affords me is often on a Sunday afternoon in particular, when we get home from church, I tend to get out our jar of yogurt. That's something that we take for lunch every day is plain homemade yogurt with frozen fruit, which means you have to like make it. You have to get out the dish and you have to serve it up. You don't just grab, a prefab packaged yogurt. So my kids have been making these yogurts every day, year after year, day after day, lunch after lunch. And so when I say, hey guys, I just made 3 yogurts for everyone, for tomorrow. So you're all set on yogurt. Guess what happens? They genuinely, with all the realness in the world, say, thanks, mom. Right? It's a genuine thank you. It's not just a polite gesture. They are truly grateful because I saved them some work that used to be theirs. If I made those yogurts for them every day, lunch in and lunch out, until they were 17 or 18, they would not be grateful. In fact, they'd probably feel a little entitled. They'd probably feel a little miffed if I didn't make them yogurt one day. I was sick or I was busy and I said, oh my gosh, you guys, you just got to make your own yogurt, right? It affords me a beautiful opportunity to give my kids a gift because they have that responsibility, and it sprouts gratitude in their hearts. Authentic, genuine, meaningful, thoughtful gratitude. So that's why I see entitlement and gratitude on opposite ends of the spectrum. And if you want to reduce the chances that your kid is an entitled brat, then you need to increase their opportunities for gratitude, which means they've got to have responsibility so they know how it feels when you give them the gift of doing that responsibility for them instead of just doing it for them as an obligation. Again, the opposite of a gift. Isn't this beautiful? Isn't this beautiful? We've got to give our kids responsibilities. I have a third reason that kids do need responsibilities. And Maria Weir of Stand Up, Reach Out, we were just on a call with our summer camp leaders, amazing people, so much energy, so much synergy as they met each other and began to collaborate. And Maria dealt with a chronic illness herself. So she was very, very tired, very sick, not a lot of energy in her day as a mom. And she has a child with special needs, which of course drains everyone in the family. That's difficult. And a lot of times people look at a kid with special needs and think, oh, they can't really help out. But you know what Maria said? Maria said she found that the most effective way to help everyone in the family was sharing responsibility. And that enabled her to have more energy, that enabled her to be less stressed, and she could be a better mom in all situations. right? All throughout the day. And it also was a gift to the children, including even one with severe special needs who can do his own laundry and make his own breakfast. Okay. That he needs self esteem too, just like our kids. And that was the best way, not only to share responsibilities as a family, but it even improved the behavior of her kids, which I think ties back to, right? That gratitude and that reduction of fear and anxiety. Of course, we're going to behave better if we don't feel entitled, like the world owes us something. And if we don't feel fearful, like we're not really sure we're in control of our situations. So Maria says she really builds that responsibility as a team, not with the mindset of like an employee, I'm doing a job, but this is my responsibility to my family and working as a team. Beautiful, beautiful things. How can we not want this? So I really want to encourage you, parents, to think about how you can begin to pass responsibilities on to your children. This doesn't mean you teach your 3-year-old to clean the toilet and have them do it from here on out. There's a gradual release of responsibility, right? At different ages. So the 3-year-old might be responsible for putting away his or her own laundry, or at least like laying out clothes for the next day and getting themselves dressed, right? A 5-year-old may be able to begin to take over part of their own breakfast. And by 7, maybe they can get out their entire own breakfast, certain meals, certain days, right? You can see how you can gradually release that responsibility. And every little bit of responsibility our kids get is like an inoculation against entitlement. It's an inoculation against fear and anxiety. And it's an inoculation against failure, to be honest, against failure. It's building them up for success as adults in small doses, building gradually as they get older and become more mature and more able to build these skills. So, first, I highly encourage you to sign up for our Life Skills Now summer camp. It's going to be an amazing event and it's free. I will put that link in the comments because I didn't even think about it. But also, summer camp's a great opportunity, but why not start now? Mother's Day is coming up, mamas out there. And so we're offering a pre-Mother's Day sale on our Zero to Breakfast weekend challenge. Our Zero to Breakfast weekend challenge is for kids ages 4 to 14, and your kids will use professionally filmed video lessons to learn multiple skills and 8 different breakfast recipes just in time, perhaps for breakfast in bed. This is a 7-video set, usually $30 slashed to $19 through May 3rd. And that's our little pre-Mother's Day gift to you. Now, you do get to keep the videos as long as you need them. You work at your own pace. So you don't have to have time to get this done before Mother's Day. This could be, a summer activity or a weekend activity. It just takes a couple hours and the right groceries in the house. I definitely encourage you to grab that. I encourage you to sign up for summer camp. But more importantly, if you do nothing else, I encourage you to sit down and make a plan. Write it out if you need to. Talk with your spouse if that would help. Make a plan for the very next responsibility that you can pass along, that you can begin to build for each of your kids based on their age and their experience. I'm Katie Kimball from Kids Cook Real Food for the Healthy Parenting Connector, where we are always encouraging you to pass responsibility onto your kids. And I hope that these 3 reasons really resonate with you and convince you that now is the time to continue or begin building life skills and teaching our kids chores and responsibilities. I'll see you next week with another expert who has the information you need to intentionally, carefully, and voraciously raise healthy, independent adults.